Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, and today we're launching a new rocket. As you can see, it's in time acceleration because we're taking it to Minmus. Now, you're probably wondering what the hell it is, and basically I've decided that the Minmus Hopper isn't working because the problem is, even with a science lab, the amount of science gained from transmitting processed information is not good enough. We need to get more physical science so that we get a lot more yield out of it. And so I'm testing an idea that I've had for a rocket which gathers up science and then sends back a Kerbal who is holding all of the science so that we can harvest it. Now, of course, one way we could do it is that we could just hop from place to place, gathering more and more science and then take it all back home, but I can't be bothered waiting for that, and there's too many biomes to deal with. So what we're going to do is send up this testing thing, and we're going to test how small we can make a return craft that can get a Kerbal back home safely. Now, I think that it's possible actually for a Kerbal to use their EVA suit to get home, but that's a little bit fiddly, and they're not going to be able to get back into the atmosphere unless they rendezvous with something, and I don't have to deal with all that sort of stuff. And actually, I'm not sure if it would be enough. They can definitely get into Minmus orbit, so we could always leave an orbiting craft, but I want to see if we can get one from the ground. So the craft that I have is one of the one-man lander cans, the lightest that I currently have available, and then attached to it I have a single RCS tank, the normal sized ones, the original, with some RCS ports on the top and bottom. We've got a docking port in case it needs to dock with anything to actually land for whatever reason, or I don't know. And then we also have some solar panels and parachutes on it, just because you'd need them for things. So you can see I've got this big old booster thing taking it up to Minmus. And these engine parts are really useful because the amount of power that they have. You can see I was like at 1/3 thrust for a lot of the flight when I was coming up with 3 of them. So they really do get you a long way, and I need to sort of get more of a feel for how they work. Anyway, you can see we're flying up to Minmus, trying to get some nice cinematic views, though of course the time acceleration is a bit crazy because it's what I was on already ×4. But there's Minmus anyway. So I'll come up to the periapsis and then slow us down. I have to use physical time acceleration to rotate the craft because I don't want to use any of the RCS for maneuvering. And of course there's a huge booster on one end, which makes it a bit difficult to turn. And no SAS either, because again I want to stay minimalist with it. I mean, it wasn't that important on the landing stage. I could have put an SAS unit on that, but I decided not to bother because we had the command pod anyway. So you can see I'm tweaking my orbit to bring us straight down. I messed it up a bit because I was still in time acceleration, but I managed to sort that out. And then once I've got it as pointing back upwards, we can start dropping down. So there we go, time accelerating. And it looks like we're going to land on that nice flat area there. So we get down to, let's see, just over 15 kilometers, though actually the ground's quite high up in this particular area, so it's a bit lower than that. Finish off that booster and dump it, and then we're ready to use the main stage. Now this the actual landing component is just there for it just needs to be capable of actually landing on Minmus and nothing else. So what will happen is the pod on top will launch separate from that and try and fly home, and then I'll probably get that landing section to destroy itself, though honestly it looks like it has enough fuel to get home. Anyway, I've sort of messed up the landing a bit because the speed was in orbit mode rather than surface mode, but I managed to fix that and land us straight down. And then once we're landed, it's time to go back to normal speed and we'll try and get this home. Okay, so here we are on the surface of Minmus with our lander. And what we're now going to do... Well, actually, we'll hop out and do some science first, I think, because we might as well. Let me see, there's a crew report to do, and we'll keep that just for reasons. We'll let go there. Oop. Just jetpack onto the ground, and then we'll do our EVA report. Lots of lovely science there, and our surface sample. Lots of lovely science there as well. We're not bothered planting a flag because this is a test mission, so that would be... I don't know, just not planting a flag because I said so. I suppose it's because the only flags I'm using are ones that mark particular areas. So anyway, the idea behind this is, I'll give you a better look at it. is that this will decouple. The reason the decoupler is attached to the pod rather than the lander is because we're going to have like a stack of these, and so we want the docking port to be free, so the decoupler above will be attached to the pod above. So all we have for propulsion is this one tank of 100 units of monopropellants, and we have 8 of these RCS thrusters, which means that we can dock with things if we want, which is why the docking port's there. And then we have some parachutes when we land and some solar panels so we don't die of various causes. And that's it. It's very minimalist, and that's sort of the point. This is supposed to... The only purpose of this is to get a Kerbal back home with the scientific knowledge he possesses. So we're going to try and do that now, and I have no idea if this is going to work. Okay, let me think. We are... Right, we're looking... I always get confused by, like, as to what direction we're supposed to go in when we take off with the nav ball, because we're sort of sat back looking up. I'm looking at the ceiling right now to sort of get my bearing. So say north is up, then we would want to go that way. So that is what looks like west on there, but I think is east. That's what my brain tells me, though my brain is often wrong about these things, but we'll try. It seems to be the direction we're traveling in because we're in orbit mode again for whatever reason. So here we go. Engage RCS and fire. Okay, so it didn't give us some propulsion, which I was hoping for, but this will. Here we go. Look at this. Oh god, that's responsive. Forgot about that. Okay, let's keep the SAS on. We're clearly going to need that. Right, here we go. We're propelling ourselves upwards with these RCS thrusters. Look at us go. How much are we using up? Oh, we also have 15 units in the actual the pod as well. I forgot about that, so that helps. Let me see what sort of... Oh yes, look at that. Oh wait, we've stopped. Why have we stopped? Oh, I know, because we need the nav ball up, and then it will let us keep going. There we go. So there we go. We're up to 10,000 already. I'll turn the RCS off for moving around so we don't waste it, because it's sort of a really vital commodity. And we'll time warp up to the apoapsis. So far so good. Right, so now we're up to here. Engage the RCS once again, and fire. And there it goes. So the brilliant thing about Minmus, it's so small that you don't need very much stuff to make a big change to your orbits and things like that. So if we just keep doing this for a few more seconds, we have an orbit. So now we just need to work out what direction to burn in to get home, and I believe it is... We'll go around to the next orbit, I think, but we'll do some maneuver noding to try and work out the best way. Oh, that's a bit much. You see, it only needs a tiny little bit, so we'll do that. I want to have a periapsis so I can work out the best place. Okay, I've clicked on it, so now it will stay. And now what I want to do is just slide the maneuver node around a little bit to see what we can do. Okay. There. Okay, that's the best place. So that's pretty much what I was expecting, I think. Yeah, it's basically horizontal, essentially. Oh, not horizontal. It's parallel to the orbit of Minmus. That's sort of what I was expecting. I just wasn't sure of the exact location, but that all looks fine. So what we'll do now is we will disengage the RCS because we don't want that to be on normally, because there'll be tiny little bits being used up to keep the craft perfectly positioned when the SAS is perfectly capable of doing that itself. So now we'll warp around, which is going to take a little while because we're quite low down. It speeds up when we get to 12 kilometers, so we will be above 12 kilometers for a bit of... Why is all the stuff active? I only wanted one periapsis to appear, and they're all just there now. Well then, I suppose I'll just have to deal with that. Can we speed up yet? There we go. Just to go around this particular bit here, and then it'll bring us back down to 50 there. We're almost there now. We don't have an estimated burn time because we're using RCS, and I don't think it supports that. By the way, in the next update there's some interesting new features where they're going to have RCS engines that use liquid fuel and normal engines that use monopropellant, so that will definitely help with not having to do so many different fuel things on. a ship. But anyway, I'm going to start my burn now, or my maneuver. I suppose it sort of is. Well, I suppose it's a maneuver anyway, actually. Whatever it is. My firing of the RCS thrusters. I suppose because we've got a burn time, I can go have a look at the pod as it flies. Oh, can we do an inside view? See, there we go. Oh, you can see one of the jets. Cool. But anyway, we're nearly there already. And we'll stop there, turn off the maneuver node, and we'll do it manually from here. So go around to Kerbin. Oh, there we go. So we'll just keep a close eye on the periapsis. There it is. So, just gentle little twitches just to get the periapsis down enough. Oh, what happens there? Minmus escape. I sort of knew that. Oh, right, I was wondering what had happened. We're going to encounter the moon, assuming we don't get slowed down in the atmosphere, which we will because we're going into the atmosphere. So how much fuel? We used up half the fuel there, so that's pretty damn awesome. That means we can do stuff like come from the poles, I expect, and still be fine. But anyway, let's begin the time warp and say goodbye to Minmus. Actually, there's one more thing we will do, just while we're flying. Let me see if I can locate it. I believe that is it there. We will switch to this. And when we get to it, there we go. So it's now just the most basic structure for landing on a planet thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to engage the thrust. Going to shoot it up a little bit. And then we're going to flip it round. It doesn't have much torque in it because it's only the pod, but it's also quite a small craft, so we don't have too much problem there. And we'll just get it pointing straight down. And then we'll throttle up to full. And this will safely dispose of it without leaving any trace apart from... Oh, well that didn't work. Damn it! It didn't go from high enough. We can't check the fueler. Oh, yeah, okay, it's done that. Well, let's pretend that didn't happen. Oh, I should have gone to the tracking station, not the space center. Stupid loading screens. Okay, into the tracking station. Right, and as we were, Minmus Messenger Test 2. By the way, it's the second test because the first test I realized was crap and I didn't use it. I think I basically strapped... Oh, it was... I was trying it with just... with probe bodies, and it turns out you can't put science into probe bodies, so that kind of fell apart before it got going. But anyway, let's continue with our journey home. We need to test that this thing lands fine first, before we consider this a total success. So there goes Minmus. Bye-bye, little mint dessert planet thing, moon. And now we're back in Kerbin orbit. Let's speed it up a little bit more. And you can see the moon whizzing around Kerbin as we approach. Well, sort of. The sun is in sort of the wrong place, but I can see it, so you can just pretend my mouse is the moon, and I'm tracking it. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we're getting a bit fast now. Bring it back down to 1,000. So we're coming in at a bit of a jaunty angle, but that shouldn't be a problem, really. And we hit the atmosphere, okay. And then Kerbin tries to load, because suddenly we've crashed into its atmosphere at crazy speeds. Where are we? Ah, we're coming over the crater. Interesting. I wonder if we can do some redirecting, actually. I'll point ourselves north. And then engage the RCS, and let's see if we can change our direction noticeably. Probably not. I mean, we're going at 3 kilometers a second right now and rising. Yeah, it's making no difference, as far as I can tell. Maybe over here. Oh, it's making a difference over here, but we're not going to get over here because we're going to re-enter before then. Yeah, I'll keep holding it. We might as well use up all our RCS fuel. You can see the edges of the crater coming up on the horizon. Let's time accelerate a bit so we can get all this burning done. Oh, we're starting to burn up as well. Speaking of burning. Just going to get this RCS fully burned. And there it is. We'll go back to normal speed so we can watch the flames a bit better. And I'll look at the sky so that the flames can render at a decent speed. Or whatever. Do something at a decent speed. I don't know computer things. Oh, SAS is on. Let's turn that off so it can go into its natural positioning, which I guess is this way up. So I'll just use the SAS to sort of steady it. There we go. Beautiful. This isn't exactly a re-entry. We can pretend that's a heat, whatever you call it. I've forgotten the name. Oh, so it looks like we are going to land inside the crater then. Let's do some time warping again now that most of the burning is over. I imagine that was a very fun gravity-filled trip for Hendon Kerman there. Okay, so we're well inside the confines of the crater now, I believe. Oh, actually, we're only just. Pardon me. And so we're at 10,000, so I will release the parachutes. And there they go. And that should hopefully bring us gently down. We'll time warp a bit more. Nothing to see here. We'll get down to 1,000, we'll go back to normal speed, ready for the parachute opening. And that is right about now. Okay, so everything's fine so far. And when we get to 500, there it is. Beautiful. Nothing went wrong. And now we should gently land in the sea without any problem. So let us time warp again. So we make our way slowly down. It's weird, you can see the island through the sea. There are very clear oceans here on Kerbin. It's quite fascinating. You can see straight to the bottom. It's amazing. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we're down to 100. And 50. And we'll go back to normal speed. Just for the last few dozen meters. And splash. Beautiful. The test was a success. We have our design for the new messenger pod. And so in the next episode we will use that. And until then I shall say goodbye, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.